What's up, soldiers? Your boy Chris here, vibes it up in the kitchen. This video here is going to be a three-part series. Holiday season coming up and you're looking for little finger food, little something to serve up when your family, when your friends, everybody get together. Or even when you're going over to people's house. As we say in the Caribbean, you cannot go with your hands swinging. Which means you gotta take something with you when you're visiting family and friends and co-workers and stuff like that. Pullourie, it is a wicked little street food you find down in the southern Caribbean, deep fried, so it's not all that healthy. But instead of doing it the traditional way, there is a traditional recipe on CaribbeanPot.com. This here is a hack version, so we're going to do 3 recipes around this pullourie. The first one, this one here, is the sort of chutney or dipping sauce, and it is the tamarind sauce that goes, this is the dipping sauce for it. The second recipe is going to be the hack version of the pullourie, and the third recipe is going to be a shrimp pullourie. I've never heard of it. It was brought to my attention via Twitter, so this one here is for my friend on Twitter. I hope you're watching. You're gonna love this one. So let's get cooking. Remember, 3-part series, 1, 2, and 3 back to back. Let me go. So in North America, we get the sweet and sour tamarind, or tambaran as we say down in the Caribbean, packaged in these little boxes here. If you're using this stuff out of the Caribbean, well, obviously it's going to be more tart and more sour. So later on, when we start making the sauce, you'll need to put a little bit more sugar and a little bit more salt. But this is pretty much what we need to do now. You can buy this sort of paste that's already prepared. That's totally up to you. We need to remove the sort of outer shell, and that's what I'm doing here. So all you'll do is you're going to crack it, and you got to get rid of all this sort of hard exterior, the shell. Just remove all of that. And what you're looking for is the sort of meaty interior, which is this part here, and it's going to be a sort of a fiber, a stringy fiber. You want to get rid of that as well. So pull that back, pull that out, make sure there is no sort of these little pieces of shell, and that's what we're looking for. So go ahead, remove all of these to get to this point here. In this step here now, I have here about 2.5 cups of water coming up to a boil. I put in I got all the sort of hard shell out of the tamarind. Bring it up to a boil. We need to bring this up to a boil because we're going to remove all the pulp off the tamarind here to really make this into a sauce. So later on, we're going to talk about removing the seeds from the actual tamarind as well. It's now come up to a boil, so what I'm going to do is reduce that to a sort of a rolling boil, so about a medium heat, and let that go for about 10 minutes or so. As it boils, all I'm doing is taking a spoon and breaking it up, and I'll show you what I meant when I said seeds. These are the sort of seeds on the inside here, and that is what later on we're going to try to remove as well. So just break it up just to help the whole the process of getting the pulp out of breaking and getting this nice and thick. After about 10-12 minutes or so, turn the heat off. And I'm going to say, I live in Canada, it is fall now. I'm going to put it outside. It's cold outside. You need for this to cool down because we're going to go in with our hands. You need it to be able to be very cold. We're going to go in and we're going to break everything down with our fingers and remove all of these seeds, as I pointed out earlier. Because now here's the thing. In the Caribbean, as a kid, I love having those seeds in there. But as an adult, I hate having those seeds. We're going to remove those, but allow it to cool down, and then we're going to remove those. Yeah, see, it is cold outside. Look at the smoke. It is about, I don't know, maybe about 15-14 degrees or something. So it's going to cool down very fast out here. It is fall. I have no trees, but this grass here is always packed with leaves. Boy, I'm telling you, it's always worked for me, you know. It is from those trees. You see that big tree there? And over there, trees, leaves, work for your boy Chris. So now, please ensure that this is properly cool, so put your finger in there, do whatever you need to do to make sure it's nice and cool. Then what you want to do is massage it between your hands, between your fingers, and remove the seeds, the hard seeds in there, and kind of press down and smash the pulp, because we want that pulp to remain in there. Now remember, make sure your hands are clean, because we're going to be, these are the seeds, we're going to discard those seeds. Try to get all of it. So what you may want to do is pull it aside, and as you remove the seeds from the pulp, put the pulp to one side, kind of thing, you know what I mean? So you know which areas you've already gone through. Make sure your hands are nice and clean, because at this point, this is what you're going to be serving your guests, right? So you want your hands to be nice and clean. Go through that, and then we're going to move on to the next step. I've gone ahead and removed all the seeds. I kind of mushed my hands between all that pulp. My heat is back on a medium flame now, and now it's time to get busy with adding some more flavor and to make this into that really nice sauce or chutney that we're looking for. I'm going to go in with some salt. Now remember, as I said, if we're doing this with those sort of tart or sour tamarind that we have in the Caribbean, you will need to adjust the salt later on. We'll taste it and adjust the salt as well as the sugar. Now in some recipes you will see they will use white sugar or granulated sugar. I like using the brown sugar because I find the brown sugar complements this a lot better. I'm going to go in with some scallions. I like this to be savory, and again, this is my recipe, so I have here some scotch bonnet pepper. That's just about half of a scotch bonnet pepper that I'm putting in there because I like a nice little kick from it. I like a sort of a garlic element in there. So that's 2 cloves of garlic that I chopped up. Some shado beni. And some onion. All of the ingredients will be posted down below as well as on CaribbeanPot.com. Now we will need some more liquid in here, so I'm going to go in with about a cup of water. I've got here a nice big heaping tablespoon of brown sugar, and later on if I wanted to add some more I will certainly do that. Now this here, again, my recipe, I like a little touch of lime juice in here. That little citrus is going to awaken things up. Go in with some water, as I said. Bring that up to a boil and let that go. We want that, all those flavors to come together. Actually, we're going for savory. A little bit more brown sugar. Get a little bit more of that lime juice in there. Bring that up to a boil and then get all those flavors coming together. It's now come up to a boil, so I'm just going to reduce it to a simmer and let that go for about 15-20 minutes or so. We want this to simmer gently, thicken up, and allow all those flavors to come together nicely. I just turned off the heat. You're going to notice it is still a bit chunky. You can certainly reduce this some more and get it to the consistency you like. What I'm going to do here is I've got my trusty stick blender, and I'm just going to go in and pulse this. I'm just going to pulse that until I get the consistency I want. The heat is off just to thicken that up just a little bit. So there you go, friends, my version of tamarind chutney or tamarind sauce. Let me just hit them a little taste. Just waiting for that pullourie now. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Remember, you can store this in the fridge for up to about 2 or 3 weeks. It will be fine in a container in the fridge. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Give this recipe a try. Watch now. Flavor for days, man.